So the divisive line is ambiguous, actually. So depends on the circumstances and often amenable to the discretion of judges. However, the sensibility in justice need to be critically associated with our common neighborhood. So, how do you assess the propriety of that lower court judgment? To justify a homicide committed in self-defense, a person must have had to defend himself against death or severe bodily harm. In most cases, mere threats do not justify a slay. Some distinct factor in that case would be that the trespasser actually tried every effort to evade away. So the situation is to escape. So very retreating from that house. However, the owner will put every effort to trace him and apply excessive force to death. How do you balance kind of justice in that situation? So, point to be distinguished from normal context of self-defense involving burglary crimes or trespass. So you will see in printout some of what explication about the terms and phrases in these pages. Homicide, what does it mean homicide? And killing, you have now some point of distinction between homicide and killing. How about the word felonies? The concept is one element, very notable, to structure the common or criminal justice system. We have some a parameter in extent of penalties, so practically have that idea. And in some certain crimes, we also apply this concept. For example, armed robbery, egregious in treatment, for example, some concept of negligence could vary. As same in Korean criminal code, I might suppose there will in any way no critical or weighty focusing concept between felony or other normal crimes between two traditions. So it could be a point to distinguish between two major traditions below. Miscellaneous, non-felonious, intentional, unintentional, and also includes some words which would appear non-routinely. So might have some need of explication in Korean version, like creep, sound asleep. What does it mean? Fire. We usually use this fire. Handle, deadly weapon. A deadly weapon or deadly force is also favored by legislative others. Kind of a usual ways to express some description about situation. Intruder, bodily harm, a threat, slave. We have second page on murder. It was number 20 first. I am afraid if the pages would miss. Murder is an unlawful killing of a human being by another with malice aforethought. So murder is a secondary concept. To be subject to homicide. So homicide is the most comprehensive term to denote unlawful killing. Murder has one distinct element, what you call malice aforethought. Also, murder is a form of homicide and a felony. In order to commit murder, the killer must act with malice. The use of a dead weapon may carry malice. Malice may be either expressed or implied. Expressed malice is an actual intent to kill someone. Whether the intention was to kill the person or someone else is immaterial. So in some cases, you will find the intent of transferable intent. So the initial victim may be failed, and his intent is still projecting through another body of others. Then the intent could be found irrelevant with a specific intent on his intent on specific victim. In that case, we will not consider any other version of culpability, negligence, or reckless disregard, or other be the kind of malice could be found as a matter of legal theory, and murder would be proper offense in that case. Consequently, if Sam shoots at Morris to kill him, but Mrs. Morrison accidentally kills Adam instead, Sam is guilty of murder because he killed with malice aforethought, even though he hit the wrong victim. Implied malice exists when there is no actual intent to kill, but death is caused by an act that shows in the person who committed it with an immoral or irresponsible state of mind that is equivalent to actual intent to kill. How do you sense this term, which you may relate to the recent several case? Implied malice, what they call in real words, 미필적 고의. So the element of culpability could come in types and some actually frame of distinctions. Negligence, recklessness. In the murder also be treated to respond with the extent of evil mind, malice, so second degree murder, first degree murder, and also we have some distinction between express and implied malice. So implied malice may be found in special situations, if the intent to kill is not expressed. So the emphasis need to be given to irresponsible state of mind, and that should be equivalent to the actual intent to kill. So in legal terms involving the concern of balance, the internal state of mind may be equivalent to an actual intent to kill. How do you find a Junseok's course of action? Do you find any equivalence? In other words, any wantonly irresponsible and dangerous action establishes implied malice. So, wantonly irresponsible and dangerous action may be construed as kind of implied malice. So, the depraving condition or status of mind is quite serious, which amounts to wantonly irresponsible, dangerous. So the specific deals could be traced in wider extent, especially in common law systems. So they are actually in practice of inductive reasoning. So many specific examples or typical situations could be assessed in reflection of precedents in case laws. There is no difference in legal effect between express and implied malice. The result of either can be murder. So Yvonne was drunk, fell asleep. Dave covered her with straw and threw hot cinders on the straw. It ignited, and Yvonne was burned to death. They were charged with murder. The court found, even though Dave did not intend to kill Yvonne, but did intend to cause a serious injury, the offense was nevertheless a murder. If a person's conduct creates such a high degree of risk that death will result, it may presume that the person acted with malice, even though he had no specific intent to kill. And one other concept, relating to homicide would be manslaughter. In the common law system, manslaughter is an unlawful killing of a person by another without malice, premeditation, or deliberation. It has two classes, voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary manslaughter is intentional. Involuntary manslaughter is not. Voluntary manslaughter is intentionally killing someone in the heat of passion following adequate provocation. The provocation and passion, both essential, must occur at the same time. If the killing is done after time it would take an older man to cool down, the crime is murder. So the crucial importance in concept is in the phrase, what you see, in the heat of passion. So normal sensibility would recognize that in this condition, a person would have no adequate balance in their mindedness and any mental response against outside activities or circumstances. So we find it a little mitigating element to relegate crimes into some lower level. Okay? So voluntary manslaughter will be relatively lower crime, lesser crime from murder. So if the condition ceased and the element of passion will disappear, then it should be treated as a murder. In general, words or gestures alone are not sufficient provocation to reduce murder to manslaughter. So imagine the murder crime is actually atrocious as you suppose. So the words or gestures would often be viewed as routine and of course not desirable in many cases. Might be a kind of provocation about our normal sense, but as lack the quality to be weighed seriously relating with finding a murder crime or manslaughter. There are two types of involuntary manslaughter: unlawful act manslaughter and criminal negligence manslaughter. The first occurs when death is caused by one who commits or attempts to commit an unlawful act, usually a misdemeanor, and second occurs when death results from a high degree of negligence or recklessness. So let us see one hypothetical case. A man driving an automobile, so school bus, discharging passengers about 400 yards ahead. The driver knew that the state law required him to stop, but he was in a hurry. So he showed his automobile to 10 miles an hour and began to pass the bus. The child darted out from